It's very common to me to look at the companies that I own and I own large positions in and to think, what could disrupt these type of business models? When I look at Salesforce, what could disrupt their software as a service platform and their integrated business models into thousands of different companies across the globe? When I look at Amazon, what could stop their e-commerce business? Amazon Prime, their subscription services, AWS. When I look at Crocs, what is the fashion trends that could be affecting Crocs' business models? And then lastly, the one we're talking about today, which is Google, what could affect a company like this and its business model? And what you're looking at could be the number one threat to Google. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to write a YouTube script, if I can spell script right, about the stock market, which is what we like to talk about on my channel. Now, while I'm talking, I have no idea what it's about to search or what it's about to pull up. I've never searched this before. It's going to go ahead and write a YouTube script for me on the stock market that I could potentially use as a creator on this channel, and let's just see what it comes up with. Now notice that this search engine is completely different from what anything like Google would be able to come up with, because Google is frankly a completely different search engine. What this is ChatGPT. This is a new search engine that is taking the world by storm, strictly using open-faced AI. And this, I have to say, is absolutely incredible, and many people are calling for this to be the number one threat to Google stock. So I'm going to talk in this video if I think that this is going to be a major threat to Google stock, what I could see this could be as a potential moving forward, and whether or not this will be affecting my investment decision into holding right around $20,000 or so into this company. So it's going to be a fun one. Stay tuned. Of course, we're going to go through all important things in relevance to Google, one of the big ones being their business model, the things that make them successful in the first place, and how ChatGPT could be affecting that here in the near future. But it's going to be a fun one. Let's go ahead and get started. But before we get into all that, we have to talk about today's sponsor, MooMoo. MooMoo is a new up-and-coming brokerage that is taking the world by storm. Commission-free trading, level 2 data, advanced technical indicators, earnings calendars to see the date of financial statement releases, and institutional tracking to follow Warren Buffett's portfolio are just a few examples of what MooMoo has to offer. With this being my first sponsor in the channel, I have fully vetted their company and stand behind their vision. MooMoo currently trades on the NASDAQ under ticker symbol FUTU for FUTU and is SIPC insured. If you sign up below using my special referral link, you can get anywhere from 1, 10, or even as high as 20 stocks for signing up when you use my special referral link down below in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Free stock amounts can be as high as $1,000, so sign up now using the link in the description or pinned comment down below. You would help support me and my channel by doing so and give yourself an edge in the world of investing. Thank you so much, MooMoo, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the content. Okay, welcome back, and let's go ahead and jump into Google and look at the long-term success of this business. Google is one that has been an incredible grower. If you just look at the long-term for this company, on a 5-year track record, it's nearly up 83% over the last 5 years. Over the last 10 years, it's up 448%, a pretty impressive performance for Google. And then on an all-time basis, since it went IPO back in 2004, the company is up 3,735% in value, and you can see that basically over time, generally speaking, this company has done one thing: it's gone up and to the right. Non-stop, without failure, it's gone higher and higher and higher, reaching a high just last year around the $150 range, and today we currently sit at a share price of $95. And this is due to two main reasons. The first one is the long-term revenue growth has been getting higher and higher every single year. Going back to 2004, around the time it went public, it was $3.19 billion. What was last year's revenue? $257 billion. Now this has been growing not just since 2004, but in the last year as well. Last year, revenue grew 41% and profitability grew a very similar 56%. Profitability going back to 2004 since its IPO. When it went public, it was $0.66 billion. Last year, it was $67 billion. It's literally 100x since 2004. Now we all know Google, we all know how its business works, and one of the main ways that Google makes money is from people searching everyday trends, like something like restaurants near me. That's something that's very common for people to search in Google, and you're going to see automatically companies and restaurants near your locations that are going to obviously pay to be at the top of those search results results in many different scenarios. Or even if you were to search something like women's clothing. If you search women's clothing, you're going to see ads from LL Bean, from US.Sheen. You're going to see Nordstrom on here. There are many different names that are paying to get those search results at the top. Which, fun fact, if you didn't know, the top 3 search results are where 85% of clicks come from. Now, I wanted to give more examples right here, not just in relation to the stock market, like what our channel is about, but I just thought of something interesting while I cut the video, while you were seeing that sponsorship video about MooMoo, and I just thought of something interesting that's very niche and very hard to write about. Write an essay about neurology and its effects on parenthood, something that's very specific. And you can go ahead and read this as it's typing out, but it's not a very broad, bland, just trying to drive web traffic into some online marketplace or some website that you've never heard of. It really gets specific here. And if you want to read over this, you can pause the video when it gets to the end, but basically it not only gives a detailed description about what neurology is, but it also writes it in an essay format like we requested, and more importantly, it also focuses on the niche of parenthood, how it can affect parents and people that are trying to create new babies and new humans coming into the world. Now, you can see that not only is this writing about this very niche topic, but it's done pretty well, and it's doing it with really good grammar, and it's very easy, simple to understand English, and it's not any type of robotic type of language. You can see that it was written like a real human. That's what's really cool about this open AI technology and how well this software can really work. Now, once again, we're getting to the very end here. I'm trying to wrap it up. If it'll hurry up and end, there we go. If you want to pause this and read over this, you can read it yourself, but basically it does an incredible job. And you can do pretty much anything here. You could write, teach me about calculus. It could literally teach you about anything. Now, the one thing I think that's really interesting here is when people say that this is a major threat to Google, and I own a large investment stake in this business, it's something that I want to pay attention to. Is this something that I think is an immediate threat? And the short answer is no, because while I think that it is an incredible software, there are many things that it cannot do, including the limitations that it has listed right here. But for example, let's write restaurants near me, just like we did in Google, just to see what comes up. And like it says, as you can read from right here, it says that this is not the internet. It cannot search the World Wide Web, and it cannot tell you what restaurants are near here. You see that nothing's even coming up right now. What if we were to search just like we did earlier? We search women's clothing. Women's clothing, it doesn't really pull up anything of use. It's not really getting those key search results that it is right now because it's OpenAI, it's not an actual search engine, and it will tell you that. So when it gives you a lot of these interesting ideas and excellent examples for doing things like writing essays or writing a symphony or explaining calculus or explaining diseases or animal facts or really anything of the sort, it's very, very good. Now, something I want to mention is that this is just brand new to the system. It is just rolling out, and it's something that's just getting on track. And it's not something that I think that Google, in my opinion, is going to have a big threat to. Now, notice that my position, my total portfolio as of today, is $38,340. We had a pretty decent gain here of about $1,300, but if you look at my portfolio, you will see many different companies and many different sectors. And this not only includes my growth portfolio, but this also includes the dividend growth portfolio, which has these 19 defensive dividend companies that are obviously growing their cash flow every single year. Now, not only do these companies have very diversified business models, they are ones that are not easy to disrupt, and I think Google is involved in that category. This is not an easy thing to disrupt. When we load up women's clothing search results, it is not because Google is the best search engine. Well, it is, but it's because it comes as a default. If you buy a new iPhone, if you buy a new Android, the default search engine is Google. Why? Because people love using Google and they pay lots of money to get inside your hardware, inside of your cell phones and your laptops and all other devices alike, so that way you will use their search engine and get in the habit of using it. It doesn't matter what you're searching, no matter what it is, you're always going to use Google over 90% of the time. That's what the statistics say. And generally speaking, anytime you search something that's anything of value, like right here, we search men's shoes, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 different search results that have Google sponsorships behind them that just paid Google for their searches. And if you don't believe me, you're watching this on YouTube right now. YouTube, of course, has advertisements built inside of its videos, and you likely watch an advertisement before this video started if you don't have YouTube Red, which once again, as you probably already know, Google owns YouTube. And so while this ChatGPT may be a really interesting open AI source to search very niche and specific things that Google can't do, it's honestly so early in the stages of development that I don't think it's really going to start to disrupt what Google's doing until they can do 2 things. One, they can find a way to heavily monetize this, much like Google is doing with its search results and its watching platform through services like YouTube. And then more importantly, it has to get much better at pulling up answers to practically everything on planet Earth. Like it says, it may occasionally provide harmful instructions or biased content. It has limited knowledge past 2021. With Google, you can search anything. You can search news today. They literally have a dedicated news tab right here that will show you everything that has happened down to minutes ago. This top search result in the New York Times happened 40 minutes ago, and this Washington Post article happened 21 minutes ago. It's actually updating live. That is something that this can't do. So I don't think this will affect Google in the near term. It's something that could affect it over the next decade, but as of right now, it's not something I'm concerned about. Moreover, I think this will improve the human race as the type of search results get better and as these type of softwares become more advanced. I think it'll be really interested to see how Google could come up with its own competitor to something like this. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Check out all the stuff down below in the description, and thank you MooMoo for sponsoring this video. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll catch you guys next time.